Alrighty, folks, welcome to the first episode of Founders Friday. My name is Kate. I'm the founder of Pick Activewear, and I wanted to do a little video series every Friday to talk through the iteration of this company and who I am and what I'm doing and what my goals are. I've always been fascinated by other entrepreneur stories, and it's really easy to come across these stories of when companies are doing well. I've always been so interested in when companies are getting built and when you have an idea, what you do with it. Everything from what technology do you use? How do you start research? What do you even research? How do you even begin a company? And so I wanted to take you guys along the journey of building Pick. It's been a super cool pivot career-wise for me, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of this and get to learn who I am and who the company is and what kind of my goals and mission are for it. So again, episode 1, my name is Kate. Like I said, I have been active my whole life. I've fallen in love with every sport, pickleball included, and I've come to really appreciate good clothing as I've gotten older. I think a lot of women especially can maybe agree with me. The stuff that you're wearing when you're in your 30s is sometimes not the stuff you were wearing when you were in your 20s. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of noticing this need for a middle ground between the tight crop tops and short skirts that I was rocking in my early 20s to when I go to the country club with my parents. Can I actually look appropriate? Am I not embarrassed to wear this clothing in front of people because it's not too short, it's not too tight? And so I've always had that bug in the back of my head. And my sisters and I are, we're taller gals, we're athletically built. We're not the size 0 and 2 that you often see in, on the website models. No slight to those gals at all. More power to you. No slight to those girls at all, obviously. More power to you. But it just didn't fit. It hasn't been fitting my body type lately. And so with that in the back of my mind, I really started noodling on this idea for a pickleball clothing company about almost a little over a year ago. Obviously, pickleball's been blowing up. We all know that. But what I was noticing was at the time, there wasn't really a culture around the clothing of it. It was a lot of folks kind of doing the technical clothing for either the professional teams or really cool brands targeted toward the younger consumer. And so I was kind of seeing this need because I noticed that pickleball, not only is it a sport that you can play with multiple generations, but it's a little bit of an older game. It's becoming younger because it's more popular with younger folks these days too. But the folks that were playing this were real people, real athletes, folks that even just were parents trying to get a break between when they had to go pick up their kids at school. And so I'm noticing that unlike a lot of other sports today, this was just a sport for real folks and real people who had real bodies and real jobs and real lives. And the options for clothing out there to make us feel good are kind of slim. You're either getting really thin, kind of active weary, like athletic material that's not very tailored and not very structured and doesn't really look good or withstand the wear and tear of sport, or you're buying the crop top tight spandex stuff that, again, when I hit my 30s, I was not comfortable wearing around my parents and their friends when we're playing golf or tennis or pickleball, etc. And, like our bodies do, they change. And so I wanted to kind of match those two worlds. Enter the idea for the pickleball clothing brand specifically. At first, I did not really have this idea honed. I think the huge red flag or not even the red flag, I think the huge misconception when people start a company that I also had of other people that I saw doing this was that you had the perfect idea from the jump, and that is just not the case. So do not fall into that trap. If you're someone who wants to start their own thing, you don't have to be perfect from the get-go. You just have to start. So I always had the idea of a pickleball clothing company, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is there a need for this? Do people care? Would people buy this? And that is the important question that you have to ask yourself when you start something. And thankfully, I've had mentors and I've taken courses, and I know that that's kind of the fundamental question, right? Is there a need? Is there pain I'm solving here? And that's a little bit of my tech sales background coming to light too. And to be honest with you, the answer was kind of kind of mixed. Like, there's no shortage of activewear out there. You guys know that. There's no shortage of companies trying to be the next Lululemon or Alo Yoga, of course. And of course, with pickleball, you can kind of wear anything. That's what I've also noticed too. People are showing up in their polos and slacks from the workday, and people are wearing the hottest new gym set. And so, was there a technical need? I don't really know. But as I got into it, and I can talk more about this in the future videos, I started seeing that people just were real. And there was a need, like I said, for real sportswear for real folks, and well made. And people now, I think, are becoming more conscious consumers. Where is my clothing coming from? Where is it sourced? Who's making this? Because there are people on the other side of this industry. And because fashion is so quick, I think we forget that. So I knew that I wanted to do something that was done really well. And in my opinion, that was something that was made on shore. Something made in the United States, I know I can control the process better. I understand that we have more regulation. I've learned a lot about, the Trade Commission, regulations and what apparel needs to have on it, and what it constitutes to be made in the United States. And again, more to come on that when I talk about getting started, but the initial idea was there. People care about made well. Okay, so I wanted to make things in America. People want to support our manufacturing on shore. People want to wear real clothes that they feel good in, that are tailored, that aren't these loud patterns, but they're not flimsy material either. Okay, cool. Multiple people are playing pickleball. Multiple generations are playing pickleball. And so how do we cater to the people who are just real folks trying to play this game and want to look good doing it, right? And again, how do we just attract folks who want to play this for fun and not necessarily professionally, but how do we want to just play this for fun, right? So the more I got into it, the more I realized that there's something here, and let's go. Let's get going. And so, as most things are, it's a huge leap of faith. I'm super excited to get going. This kind of idea process I just walked through was kind of me last fall. So I've done some things obviously up until then, but I want to take you guys through the initial journey and what this was and why I'm so passionate about this. And again, being a former athlete, being someone who's around athletic people, again, women and men who have real bodies and real lives outside of just trying to play this game, knowing that kind of culture is behind a lot of this sport. How can we build something that brings people together in the same way that pickleball brings people together, right? So anyway, thank you guys for listening to the first episode. Again, this was the introduction on me and what we're doing here and the goals for the rest of Pick Activewear. And I'm super excited to see you guys in episode 2, which is how I got started, what you need to do to actually get moving on developing the company, and that'll be next week. Anyway, thanks a lot. See you next time.